Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday night now, and the main stories I've been watching were about Jack Smith and the court cases that he dismissed. And, a lot of people are getting bent out of shape about it and stuff for sure. Definitely. But, I kept my calm about it and thought about it, and to me, it was all just a waste of time anyway. It took Garland 2.5 years to bring the case, saying that he had to do all this interviewing and all this other stuff. Well, as far as I was concerned, there was committee hearings and that was already taken care of, and they could have been giving them evidence as they were getting it or clearing it. Anyway, long story short, they didn't do that. It took 2.5 years to even appoint a special counsel. And then it was delay. Now it's dismissed without prejudice. That means that they can retry it again after he gets out, which I don't know why they keep saying that not indicting a sitting president is an actual thing, because it's really not. It's just an office of legal counsel opinion. It's because it causes them undue burden. So anyway, when you have that situation where you have someone that you're putting above the law and working aggressively to get around all these stop holds and all the laws and all the regulations and background checks and everything that we have in place to keep us safe, that means that that's not your intention, is to follow the law. You are trying to work with people and do things by the book. You're going around everything, everywhere you can, constantly pushing that envelope, and you're not trying to be honest, actually. So it's mens rea. It's your mindset, criminal mindset. And people who are always like that, they always work like that. That's how he always thinks. That's how he got in trouble with this whole case in the first place. All he had to do, if he wouldn't have been running for president, the campaign interference, it wouldn't have mattered, because he wouldn't have been covering up evidence that would have hurt him in his campaign. So that's why it was election fraud. And to me, that's I just, it's just another drop in the bucket. It's just another little tiny piece in this whole big picture of who he is and the people that he surrounds himself with and their motives for working against us and sabotaging us instead of for us and what we need. And, that can be looked at both ways, I guess. Now he can't say that, oh, it's a witch hunt and they got all these court cases against me and stuff. So now you can just focus on what he's got to do. And I say, don't watch what he says, watch what he does. So he can say a whole lot of stuff day by day, drip by drip, these news cycles that keep coming out. It's always what's gonna make you mad and get a reaction out of you, and then you're mad about that point all day long, and then you miss 10 other points of everything else that's going on. It's like a distraction from the main point. And the main point is not being faithful to the United States, not being loyal. They were all in it to commit business fraud, more sweetheart deals, more ways to do insider trading, all that kind of stuff. So that's why the FBI background checks are important for these jobs. You have to have them. And bypassing them isn't helping anybody. Like, I don't know. What this is the next subject that I wanted to go into about Cash Patel being the head of the FBI. Like, that's not gonna go over too well with anybody. I can imagine that not. And Dan Bonagino running the CIA, that, like, why are you tapping Fox News for cabinet members? This is ridiculous. These are TV people. These aren't like real life people. They have personas. That's why I don't trust politicians, because they have these fake personas, and you can't even be real with these people, and it's so awkward to even talk to them. They're like what I call plastic people. I just can't even deal with it. And then you get all these crazy people that think they can run all over the law and do whatever they want, and they are on both sides, because it is Republicans and Democrats, and a lot of them do have drug problems, you know. I mean, I'm not, you know, I don't even want to get on the subject of Hunter Biden. He needs treatment. He needs to get himself together. I hope he does well in life, you know. Just stay away from the tweakers. I hate tweakers. I can't stand people on that level. They are so slack-jawed and weird, and I can't do it. I don't have the patience for all that. Not at all. So I hear Eric Trump on the news, on Fox News today, railing off about, oh, this is going to be double jeopardy against my dad, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Eric, what about your brother's drug problem? Because what he's doing are chemicals, and they're not legal anywhere in America. I mean, it'd be different if it was like cannabis or something, and that's legal in some states. But what your brother's doing and what Matt Gates are doing is not legal. So it's a big problem. So you can call out fentanyl, but you can't call out your ecstasy or all the other chemicals that you guys like to do. So, you know, I challenge him on it. Like, okay, Don Jr., you want to sue me for defamation? Let me look up your nose. let me get a blood test. I would love to get a hair sample. Then you can prove that you're not a drug addict, and then you have nothing. Everybody can stop teasing you online about your videos where you are physically and visibly impaired from being inebriated or under the influence. Anyway, but he's not in a cabinet position, so which doesn't really matter, really. That's just going after Don Jr. and attacking him for what? For being just like I don't even know how the guy functions and can work a regular job, because he probably can't. You know, he's been sheltered and taken care of and spoiled for a long time. So, you know, he can get away with all that, just like Hunter did. So, you know, just like Tucker did, just like they all, you know, all these spoiled guys that think they're entitled and they think they can walk all over you, and then, you know, they get abusive, and then they start getting away with that, and then next thing you know, you're where Trump's at, where he's gotten away with everything his whole life, and now he feels emboldened and above the law. And I've studied narcissists for a long time. I could tell you a whole more than you ever wanted to know about narcissists and malignant narcissists and the dark triad and all those kind of people. Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with people like that, but they exist, so I have to deal with it. You know, you have to work around those people. You can't let them be in charge. Are you crazy? Like, why would you ever think that someone so self-centered and cruel could ever do a good job. Like, and that's the whole thing about. I was watching news clips today, and Elon's mom was on Fox News with her new book, and she was almost gloating. And I was just thinking about the arrogance of these people, because she has a plan. A plan for what? A plan like your son does, or a plan like Prince Andrew and King Charles from England? What about their plan? Was that Prince Philip's plan that they want to fulfill now? Is that what we're talking about? Because, like, I feel like I should go there because Andrew's angry. Andrew, it's been a couple of years now. It was almost Christmas time where he got stripped of his military duties with good reason, without reversal. And if it does get reversed, it's a big issue. And there is a lot of remarks. So I would appreciate it if it was honored. And saying that, after all those lawsuits and everything, and he was mad about having to sell that house and where he's living, and his income was messed up and everything. Yeah, I can understand him being angry, but you broke laws in our country. Like, we're not England, we're American. Like, just because we claimed our independence doesn't mean you still get to push your way around like you always do. Because like, on one hand, I'm getting shaky just even going here. Okay. Like, with Charles, I understand his anger. Like, I understand how he could feel so angry inside, getting screamed at by people about this colonialism crap. But do you really take your anger out on these people and say, oh, hey, here was, you weren't under colonialism, but maybe you should be, and just because you can reinforce that, maybe you shouldn't. And betrayal is a hard thing to address, like, because people get a lot of hard feelings about stuff. And yeah, I still have a lot of hard feelings about stuff, and I've tried to work things out in a productive manner. I guess I'm angry right now. I don't like being this man. Like, the audacity of some people, I think you're gonna... No, I'm gonna straight up accuse you of Donald being sold out to you guys, and he was going over to England all the time, and Rupert's always over here with Fox News, and we all know that Elon's dad used to work with Andrew. They had the mines in South Africa. They all had a working relationship for years. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out a corporate takeover by corporate raiders. I know what a corporate takeover is. I've seen enough of them to know who the dismantlers are. The guys that come in and strip everything and dismantle it and sell it off for parts and start all over again, I guess, with a skeleton crew. So, I don't think, if the Constitution can't stand this stress test, maybe it wasn't good enough in the first place. Maybe it should be redone. It's been a long time. Maybe it needs to be revised. We have AI. We can help rewrite things now and streamline things. But is Elon really the person to do that when he's being a shadow president? He's already violating the Logan Act. He's not authorized to negotiate. And everybody's just letting him negotiate and walk all over everything. And then he gets to just, you know, these outlandish ideas about he has this Doge committee. Well, how are you even going to start this committee? Does it even matter? Because if we have a new constitution, then they can just name whatever they want. We don't need any senators and Congress people anymore, because they'll make all their decisions for us, and they don't have our best interest at heart. They want militarized police and stuff like that, like they do in all these other countries. I don't know of how many of you have ever traveled abroad, but, if they don't have infrastructure to have police departments, they have soldiers that a lot of them it's a job for them. That's the only job around for them. And they go and join these armies so they can eat and get paid and have something for their families. It's not voluntary like it is here in some places. It's a lot different. And I just never thought I would see anything like that here. Like, what am I supposed to be mad about it? Am I supposed to be sad? Sick to my stomach? All of the above. Yeah, probably all of the above. And that's okay. I'm going to feel what I'm going to feel. And I'm tired of telling or being told how I should feel and how I should act, and saying, oh, you're just a defiant teenager that's not going to listen and not going to do what you're told. And, yeah, maybe I am like America. Maybe I am just a teenager flipping you off. Saying, no, I'm not doing it. No. I don't believe in colonialism. I don't want to work for free. I don't want to have to be forced to do stuff I don't want to do and have everybody hurt. That's why, like, we even had freedom of religion and we have rights and different things, because we've lived this way before. And nobody studied history. Everybody forgot how messed up things were 250 years ago. Like, can't we move past that? No, they want to turn back the time because they want to keep being in control and keep you in heel. Because, for what? So they can have all these poor people that are controlled, or because you want to, change the future of humanity. You want to mold that vision of the future and call it New World Order and stuff like that. What order are you talking about? My order or their order? Because it makes a difference to me, because I have a letter and mark. And, of course everybody laughed and no one took me seriously. And I know Andrew's mad about his, duties and being questioned by the FBI and not honoring that request and saying that they don't have jurisdiction and all this other stuff, and you can do what you want to do, and you're part of the boys club, and you all go around the world and just do whatever you want to do, and now you want to do the same thing here. And yeah, I have a big issue with that, because we are a banana republic. I mean, that's not... We all knew a lot of corruption was going on in these different places, but without the technology to videotape things and have evidence and have, algorithm datas for, like, tracking people's movements and stuff like that, that's how Tulsi got, put on the TSA watch list. So, we can prove corruption a lot more now. And to me, that's what the big issue is. It isn't if I'm a Democrat or Republican, it's about corruption and you guys making all these deals and, all your business deals, and then you blame it on other people when the prices go up. So I'm not going to get mad about tariffs. I know what tariffs are. Like every time they talk about tariffs, our prices go up. And like I was talking before about being pro-union, we have had a lot of these parts plants, like only a certain percentage of the total car for GM has to be American made for it to be qualified as American made. And GM isn't the only car company that manufactures in the United States. Like BMW down in South Carolina, and Toyota and Ford and Stellantis and all these other corporations. And they all have parts plants, and they all have scat part plants around Michigan too that aren't union, but then the main assembly plants are. So there's a lot of satellite companies, is what I'm trying to say, that make parts that apply to the other parts. So I don't know, like this whole chips thing, the plants, the one plant mega site here keeps getting pushed back because they have questions, and that's fine. And, I guess they're going to do what they're going to do. And it's taken, 3 years to get the investment into Hemlock Semiconductor in Michigan here. And I don't know. I really don't want to go into all that right now, but I will say this. Like, I know that Trump went over there one year for Christmas, and they all did their photo ops, and I was just looking at them, and I was thinking, I wonder if people knew, people knew who Philip really was. That's why I'd seen, like, a long time ago some of the video footage of hearings they had, because it had to be dealt with because his sympathies didn't lie. His sympathies lied with what was considered the opposition. He had loyalties that weren't with England. I'll say that. So everybody knows that we're having all these problems with, this ideology. I don't even want to try to get it to one country, because it's not. Now it's international. And it's more of a religious movement. And I don't appreciate having my rights taken away or having my rights violated. And that's what it's all about for them. Andrew doesn't want to be told what to do, and told that he has to be questioned by the FBI, and them still, like, the whole thing with Ghislaine. And yeah. And everybody else that's involved in that. Because, of course, everybody just wants all that to go away. And like I said, she's the only one in jail out of all this. And Andrew doesn't get in trouble and stuff. And yeah, he's gonna dig his heels in and say, yeah, you don't have jurisdiction. I have to answer your questions. I don't, what are you gonna do? Go there and arrest them? Yeah, right. You're not gonna go there and arrest them. So, but I don't know. Like, I've tried to be diplomatic about this. And to me, I feel like my rights are being violated all over again. I'm losing my right to vote because this case just got dismissed. And then, like, some of my other medical choices, freedom of choice has been taken away. I'm not an equal citizen under the Constitution anyway. And then I'm not going to have health care on top of that. So I feel like my human rights are being violated. They have been for a long time now. That's why Andrew got in trouble anyway. Because he was going around violating everybody's rights where he shouldn't have been, and using his position to leverage power and control against people that he shouldn't have been. And they have sold, their time for influence, and time is money. That's where Trump gets it from, because he learned it from them. That's what they all do. They've been doing this for a long time, hundreds and hundreds of years. So if you study kingdoms and histories throughout, I don't know, what we've been able to at least track. I mean, I can track my family all the way to the Scythians and Carpathians, Middle Ages pretty much, at least to the 1200s, back to Sweden in the 1200s. So yeah, it's a long history. And um even from the branch of my family that came from Quebec from the 1600s, or we can that it was always kept track of the whole time. They did kept track of the men, but not the women. So I guess I just felt like it didn't matter. Like, the women were always secondary in all this. And I'm not a dumb person. I don't think that I've done anything that harmed anyone else. I never did. Like, I never wanted to have to fight something that was just, wasn't even anything to argue about. It's all just a bunch of made up garbage that everybody keeps arguing about. And it takes your mind off of the real issues of the distraction. And it's like a Jedi mind fuck, all the mental gymnastics are ridiculous. All these commercials that I've had to watch for the last couple of months are ridiculous. And that's why Fox News is a really big problem, because Rupert and Prince Andrew are tight. They all are. It's been an issue for years over there. You can't let somebody control your media and have that much control over your propaganda. And when you keep creating these information bubbles, and like, we can't even get anything done with the FCC because it doesn't matter if you lie. It's okay to lie. And that's just one basic thing. Like, there's no consequences for your lies. You just lie and you get paid all this money and you think everything's fine. But there is consequences for your lies, because people believe you and they trust you. And then when they find out they can't believe you and they can't trust you, it's called disillusionment. And when someone looks up to you like you're a hero and you break their heart like that, people get hurt feelings. So if you want to do this to your own people and think it's okay, I mean, it's heartbreaking to sit back and watch, because some of those people are my family members too. And I stopped talking to a lot of people too. And I understand it's a cult. I understand that That's what I was trying to call attention to, is the lying and the deception and the manipulation, and always being on edge and always having these messages on your phone and being woke up in the middle of the night, and then you suffer from sleep deprivation, and then you're hit with all these algorithms that keep giving you content that either infuriates you or depresses you or makes you angry, whatever gets the most reaction out of you. So it's literally emotional reinforcement, and it's dysregulating your core emotions. Like, when was the last time you took a couple days off of social media, or you put on your do not disturb on your phone at night? Because a lot of these apps, you're getting messages all night long. Like, I was having stuff constantly wake me up in the middle of the night, and all it is a message on my notification screen waking me up, and I was like, I had to shut my phone off. I couldn't. Not to mention getting hacked and having all this stuff, like, I don't know, like, all the emails you get bothered with, all the phone calls, like, T-Mobile got hacked twice, and so that's why I didn't even want my phone with them anymore. And, I just kept getting hacked all the time, and it's so, I mean, it's not really a big deal because I would never have anything on my phone that I wouldn't want anyone to see, obviously, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference to me, but, like, I can't even have privacy. And then, like, my other YouTube account that I was using just to comment on videos that I've had for 7 years now, I was getting bullied on. I had 31 subscribers and I had never posted a video on there. And then they're saying all this stuff to me and stuff. I know who they are, they're a bunch of misogynists that would just want to, mess with me and intimidate me and troll me. So what do you do with a troll and a bully and stuff? You gray rock them. You ignore them and stuff, and tell them I'm not playing your game. You're not going to get a reaction out of me every 5 minutes every time you want to post some garbage on Twitter to make everybody nervous, or, they want to talk about free speech. Where's my free speech then? Because I, my account, I've had to shut my accounts down because people harass me so bad and I can't do anything about it, and there's nobody to complain to. Nobody does anything anyway, so what difference does it make? Nobody holds them accountable for moderation. And then Elon's trying to use his platform to influence all these treaties and agreements and things that he has no business negotiating because he is not authorized to negotiate anything. So I don't know why he's trying to be a cowboy and won't stay in his lane like Jeff Bezos. They're always trying to be cowboys and always trying to push the envelope. And yeah, that's fine to a certain extent. Yeah, I have my aggressions too. I want to get my adrenaline rush sometimes too. I want to get my anger out too. Like, I like to take my anger out on yard work and, cutting up some wood or something. I don't know. Like, I have to do something physical to tire myself out, is what I'm saying. And the fresh air and being outside helps me. And, I have PTSD really bad. And I'd rather not go into that whole story. We can talk about that another time. But what I am saying is that I don't think a hostile takeover is feasible or in anybody's best interest. I've watched enough soap operas back in the day. We used to go over corporate takeovers any way you could think of. Case scenarios, like the Quartermains were always doing something. That's why, Dorian was always one of my favorite characters, because she was ruthless. And I liked Erica Kane a lot too. She was funny. I don't even know how many times she's married. But after a while, all that magical thinking and everything, it started to kind of depress me, and it wasn't, I don't know. I just stopped watching soaps a long time ago, and they weren't that popular anymore. But, I learned a lot about manipulation from it, or how to play a long game, or, think 10 steps ahead. So, yeah, I'm a strategist. That's my game. That's my jam. That's what I'm good at. That and physics. I love physics too. I love to figure out mechanical things. That's just what I've always been interested in, because I'm a visual learner. And I maybe it gets me into too much trouble because I I just, I want to work on projects. I want to work on things that excite me. I want to work on what makes me happy. I don't want to have to work for somebody that screams at me all the time and thinks I have to do everything, and be like somebody like Ivanka that's going to tap her finger on the table and say, "Coffee, coffee." Okay, you ring a bell and your servant's going to come in for you. I'm more independent than that. I like to put my own toothpaste on my own toothbrush. I'm not like Charles. I don't have to have somebody do that for me, or have, somebody arrange my teddies for me like Andrew does. I'm not. I can make my own bed. I can mow my own lawn. I don't need anybody to do all that stuff for me. So maybe I am more like a man sometimes. I had to work. I didn't have anybody to support me. I like, my man was a joke. So like, I couldn't stay with him, and I just I don't know. I don't That was a long time ago anyway. So, like, you live with somebody and they always want to cut you down and call you names and never talk you up and never be uh, positive. They always have some negative to say. I mean, that's why I can't stand that Jesse Waters guy. Like, he's so arrogant and negative and just nasty all the time. And then all these other guys act like him. They say, well, he's getting paid big bucks and it's acceptable for him to sit up there and lie. And then they're all like, I just don't want to be treated like that. I don't know. Why is that so much to ask for, just to be treated decent? To not be called a bunch of names and told that nothing I ever do is good enough and I'm not smart enough and my place is in the kitchen and I'm supposed to submit, and if I don't, I get punished. Like Tucker says, a vigorous spanking. Yeah, right. You need to talk that crap to somebody else. Like, no, don't go there with me. Because I'm a mama bear. Like, come on. Like, daddy's home? Yeah, right. Okay. Because when daddy comes home drunk on a rampage, mama's got to deal with that crap. So, brings me to my next point about burning bridges because you might need friends. Like, I guess we have to go there again, because the last time I was talking about burning bridges and you might need a friend, no one listened to me. And then we all lose. Like, we're going to run out of bridges. If we keep burning bridges down, there's not going to be any bridges left. I wish you would understand that. And Donald just doesn't get it. So neither do these other guys that he sold us out to that are going to bully us. The people that are bullying him because you think he's a bully. No, he looks up to these other guys that are more ruthless than him. He's, we're talking about men with the brains to back up the anger. The brawn is what I'm saying. Donald doesn't have the brawn. And he has all these other people that are just getting in line to stab him in the back. I mean, if I had to bet on the first betrayal, my money would be on JD. Oh, it's gonna be the first one to stab him in the back and take it to the top. Like, if I had to go, if I was writing a movie script, that would be a good storyline. That would be feasible. But anyway, because they're gonna both throw each other under the bus. It's a symbiotic relationship in that way. And it's just like they're all sold out to Andrew. That's who Jeffrey worked for, is Andrew. Bill Clinton went to college. He went to Cambridge. He went to college in England. He hung out with Andrew. Elon's dad worked for Andrew's family. Like, they had the permits and working relationship and all that blah, blah, blah nonsense. So, Elon's mom has a plan. So, back to burning bridges. Yeah, Thanksgiving's not one of my better holidays because, crazy people, they always, your enemies always attack you on the holidays. That's usually how narcissists and all those, people, they love to get at you at the holidays when you're supposed to have all these nice warm feelings, and it's going to affect you the most. The misery loves company, and they just want to ruin your holiday and ruin your life, and they hate to see you happy because they're miserable. So, I have to deal with my feelings about Thanksgiving and my past and everything, and I'm working my way through that. I don't really care for the holiday. Enough said about that. Then we're coming up on Christmas again. Yeah, Christmas. So, we have this saying about if we get to go home for Christmas. Like, do I ever get to go home for Christmas? Make jokes about Christmas demons. Because, Christmas is usually one of the most scariest times in my life. And maybe that's why it's always there. like an elephant in the room. Like this problem that these people put in my life, and then they want to keep repainting. Oh, you can't say Christmas anymore. Blah blah blah. When that too destroyed Christmas in my life. Everything that I held dear, everything that I cared about, everything that I love is always used against me for Christmas. Because that's what a narcissist does. And I just don't want to be around people like that anymore. Can you blame me? I have to be scarier than them. I have to be meaner than them. I have to outsmart them. It's exhausting. It makes me wonder about my faith in humanity, if there is any good people out there that do care. Because most of the people I see out there don't care. And it's okay to lie. And it's okay to hurt someone else. And it's okay to break all of the 10 Commandments. Like it doesn't mean anything. And then you put him up on a pedestal and worship him. That's why I don't even really believe in religion anymore. Because, and then they put his name across the flag. And all this other stuff. And just the merchandising, the scams, all these weird guys. They're all corrupt. You know, it was a way to pull all these people out of the woodwork, yeah. Because they're the ones that are always constantly working against us in the United States. The corruption was the problem. And they're worried about people from all these Latin countries when it's mostly the Europeans that are doing most of the damage. As far as I can tell. The real damage. We don't think you should have declared independence, America, and you're just a naughty teenager. And these, whatever, discipline. Anyway. People probably wouldn't even believe it if I told them anyway. They'd be like, yeah, right. And I'd be like, well, what year was the Declaration of Independence signed? What year do they keep talking about? They keep repeating that number over and over and over again. I mean, I don't even know if I start talking about 1776, if they say something on YouTube or not. Because other people were using it. They didn't talk about the Declaration of Independence. They're talking about something else that I'm not part of. That's England. So if England betrays us, that's bad. And I can tell you right now, Andrew's still angry. He still feels betrayed. Of course he's angry. Of course he's not going to let the FBI ask him any questions. Yeah, right. Especially about all that stuff. So, who's covering for all that? It's just infuriating. And we can't, what are we supposed to do about Fox News? And I understand, like, in England, the problem with all the tabloids and the press, and it's still a big nightmare over there, and all the news stories and people talking about you constantly and the misinformation. And I do understand all that. And there's got to be a way that we can regulate our news sources to where we at least have legitimate sources that we can rely on that have at least a 75 percentile rate of honesty. Can you give me at least 75%? I mean, the lies are ridiculous. And Not when you're influencing our elections and you're influencing outcomes of court cases because you're saying that the the OLC opinion is a law, and then saying, oh, well, we have to do that, or, oh, he can pardon himself when he can't pardon himself. What president has ever tried to pardon themselves before? And why would he want to do that if he wasn't committing a crime? And if he wasn't committing a crime, then he wouldn't have to admit his guilt. So why is he... You're putting somebody in the position where they don't have any accountability for what they're doing. So when you dismiss this case, in his mind, he's like, oh, well, I'm emboldened to do all this other stuff now. I've gotten away with everything so far because Donald, he might have got, arraigned and all that, but it really hasn't cost him anything. Any money that he had to put up, someone else put up for him. He hasn't had to spend one day in jail. Nothing like that. So he really doesn't get held accountable for anything. So he just keeps committing crime after crime after crime. You can't even keep up with it. That's why they have the whole RICO Act to RICO all these people together and get a criminal organization, because there's so many crimes that you can't even keep track anymore one by one. And it's just like a way to pare it down and to get all these people wrapped up together because it's a criminal enterprise. And then you start having all these jurisdiction problems. So they send in people like Elon that is transnational, that has all these businesses in all these other countries. So he has a reason to be coming back and forth. He knows he can't pass a background check because of that. And another thing too, if he wants to be on any kind of board or committee or anything, he has to divest from his companies. What happened to all that? Trump's not going to divest from anything. Neither are any of these other guys. And Bassett working for George Soros and all that. Like, don't even ever mention that guy's name to me again. Because if y'all are going to be hypocrites like that, you're a joke. Come on now. Like, how many times did you demonize that man's name? And then you're gonna, all of a sudden, Elon's on your side when he was never on your side before. All of a sudden, he flipped and did a 180. And then everybody just believes it and says, oh, it's no big deal. It's okay. He just did a total 180 on every core belief that you all ever thought or had about this man. But you think he's the smartest and richest man in the world. So I can't tell you anything because you already know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's your perceived personas about people that get you in trouble. Because you think you know who somebody is, and then you don't look and see who they really are when they're right in your face showing you. Like the tariffs, like he's not one bit concerned about the price of your groceries, because all your groceries are going to get raised with these tariffs. And then you think that he cares about your bridge cards because you're not getting any more on your bridge card. Your bridge card's probably going to get cut. The people that need it the most are the ones that they let start because it makes you more desperate. So they're going to, pare down all the workforces and get us down to a skeleton crew in America and dismantle us. And then we have to reconstruct. So when we go through our reconstruction period, maybe you might want to tap my talents. I'm not saying that in a weird way either. I mean, like, I'm a smart person and I can help you, but nobody wants my help because you all think you know everything. So, like, what is all this going to do to the stock market? Because they've been in a hyperinflated bubble all this time. They've been price gouging. They've had record profits. They haven't had to go through any kind of growing period or restructuring. So now all your stock prices are going to start dropping. That's just how it works. And these people getting on TV and saying, oh, well, we said this, and that online, and oh, look at how the stock market reacted. What, to your comments? Because that's how you're manipulating it. That's why it's a problem, because you're manipulating it. You know, you can't just get on TV and lie and say whatever you want and manipulate things, but I guess you can. So it's okay to lie. And that's the whole point of this. Like, everybody needs to get a great big lesson in lying. And you're going to tell me that the truth doesn't even matter, and what these people are covering up for doesn't matter. And then, my feelings don't matter either. Okay. Well, that is a two-way street. So now we're back to burning bridges again. Like, we had this argument before when, nobody wanted to use blockchain technology for the stock exchange in England. And then everybody, and it costs everybody. Everybody loses, Yeah, that was right about the time that they lost that refinery and blame it on Houthis. Whatever, not my problem. Anyway. Yeah, back to burning bridges. Okay, so sometimes you need friends, and sometimes people dig you into a hole that you can't get out of. So while our economy is getting fleeced and sabotaged, and Donald's running roughshod all over us because nobody decided that they wanted to protect us. So we have to protect ourselves, and that comes up with a game plan. So, like, I'm not afraid of what happens if we have to redo a constitution. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? England takes us back over and reinstitutes colonialism just to teach us all a lesson because he got mad. Because they want to control us and keep us in heel. Because that's what I've seen out of these people my whole life. People, like, it's all about control with them. It's all about pushing you and seeing how far they can take it with you, pushing your boundaries, as narcissists do. Yeah. Like, I've known about all this for at least 30 years. Because back when I was a kid, they used to talk about it in the militia. And I don't know, everybody know him as Mark from Michigan, but he used to, well, he has a whole bunch of videos on YouTube too, but I definitely don't want to plug his channel. I don't know if any of them got taken down or not. But he used to talk about England a lot. But it was like reverse psychology. He was talking about them being aggressive and all this other stuff, and I don't know, conspiracy theories that I just don't want to go into. But yeah. So now, these years later, we go with these other conspiracy theories and all the lies that get told on TV. And now we have to face a hostile takeover and the dismantling. So it's just a matter of how far they get to dismantle everything and reinstitute new laws and rules and instill their people in the positions that they want. That's why we have to do the background checks for the cabinet positions. But they're always trying to work around things and bypass things and think they're cool and think it's funny, and I guess it gives them some kind of adrenaline rush. Maybe that's it. It just doesn't fill the hole in your heart. Like, I don't know what would ever satisfy a person like that, because they don't emotionally feel anything. You can't tell me a narcissist has emotions. Like, hungry, tired, mad, elated. Whatever. Anyway, that's about it. Not anybody that would have any empathy for you cares about your feelings. That's the total definition of a tyrant. Someone that rules without regard to your human rights. And we've been over our human rights. Like, we've been over this a million times. And I don't want to give up my rights. I don't want to have to live under those conditions. And I feel bad about other people that do, because I wish I could help them. And I guess you have to lead by example. So if we can't have human rights here, and you're violating our rights here, then everybody else's rights get downgraded too. And then we just don't have rule of law anymore, and nothing matters anymore, and it's, whoever is the ruthless gets the most control. So, yeah, I don't want to be have to be a cold-hearted bitch, but sometimes I do. I don't want people to be afraid of me. I don't want to have to be mean to anybody, because that's just not who I am. But when I feel like I have to defend myself, all that's out the window. I mean, that's why I don't want to get mad and angry, and I just want to play it cool. And, you have to worry about preemptive strikes, but I just... like, it's hard to know what's coming and what I need to do about it, and what I am and not supposed to talk about. And I don't want to come off as, like, threatening or alienating or anything like that, but you have to have boundaries with people and say, okay, if you do this, I'm going to do that. Tit for tat. So everything you dismantle, I get to dismantle something. Tit for tat. They used to call it an eye for an eye, but I wouldn't go that far, but yeah. Anyway. So, I kind of think of it all like a game. Like, I used to play Mousetrap. That was a fun game. Mousetrap. It's funny. Like, before they used to say, they sent out a message on AP that said, oh yeah, we thought it was a mountain, but it was really a mouse. Yeah. Let's play mousetrap. It'll be fun. This is not a drill. Like, let's see if I can withstand the stress test. That's why I say, well, I'm up for a stress test. Why not? Let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? We have to rewrite the Constitution, and I want to be equal citizen anyway, and I'm not. So, and then we have all these modern updates that we can do. We can do so much better. Besides letting somebody like Elon, that's another thing too. These guys can talk all this trash all they want, but your grocery prices are immediately going to go up, and you're not going to be able to hide that. When all these people are gone and your labor force changes and your working conditions change, you can't hide that. When they're stripping away all your rights, they can't hide that. So when y'all start rioting and you get mad and they want to, control all that and keep you all in heel, they'll be like, oh, well, we wanted a dictator. But you're not going to like it because they're going to have militarized police and they're not very nice. It's not like you haven't been in other countries, you've been sheltered. You've had it way too good here. You don't understand what it's like in other places of the world where they haven't been so fortunate. And people just go in there and run roughshod all over them and take them for a ride and take all their resources and pillage and plunder. And that's the way they've always done it for thousands of years. This is not brand new. It's not brand new at all. It's the same old playbook, just a different guy, whoever's ruthless enough to take control. So, that's why I stole the keys. Okay. I'm a big enough person to admit it. I stole the keys. So, as far as I'm concerned, they're mine anyway. And all this talk about intellectual property and who's smart and who's not and who's got the high IQ and who doesn't. And that's all that's why I say you can't fake your way through this stuff. Numbers don't lie. It doesn't. You're going to see the results of all this, and then you're going to say, oh, damn, maybe we shouldn't let him do all that because he was lying to us. He's not a very nice person. Yeah. You got to have a nut loose to be dealing with these people because they drive me nuts. Like, I can't even. It's so frustrating because I feel like they have the advantage because they get protected, and I feel like it's the story of David and Goliath all over again. You got to be brave and conquer the giant. And to me, I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. Like, I've been scared my whole life, and I'm done being scared. It's finally here. Everything that I've been afraid of my whole life is finally here because this is what I feared the most, was having more control over my life like this. And I just don't want to be controlled like that. So it's not about getting angry or getting even. It's about having boundaries and respecting my boundaries and enforcing my boundaries. So that's why I have to enforce my boundaries. And like, it's not something I want to do, it's something I have to do because people have pushed me to that point. No one ever wants to be inconvenienced, and I'm just not going to be mad, and I'm not going to yell about it, and I'm not going to be like them and spew a bunch of lies and threats and make everybody nervous and on edge all the time and stuff, because I've known what I've wanted the whole time. I want my freedom, and I never thought that was too much to ask. And apparently it is. And yeah. I just have issue with it because I know that when Donald negotiated that whole withdrawal from Afghanistan, and he invited the Taliban to Camp David, everybody was freaking out and said, no, they're not authorized, they are not recognized, you can't negotiate with them. And he just didn't understand. He's like, oh, I'll work with anybody. It's like, no, there's a reason they aren't sanctioned. Anyway, so he wanted to let this patriarchy take over. And even if you want religious law and have like male dominance in your state, it's still against women's rights. And I feel like I should be a productive member of society. And people are always telling me, oh, you should pick your stuff up by your bootstraps and work. And maybe I don't have a man to take care of me. And maybe I'm smart enough that I don't need a man to take care of me. And maybe if I have a flat tire, I can change my own tire. I've pride myself on being able to do things for myself and being independent. So how am I so wrong in just wanting what everybody else does? I thought, no, but I'm told I'm supposed to be submissive, and my job is cooking and cleaning and serving someone that doesn't appreciate me. So when am I supposed to be happy with that? Because I wasn't happy with that. I could take better care of myself. Like, when Daddy came home, it was a problem. Maybe not my real dad, but my stepdad. Yeah, that dude. He got protected too. And he was a 4th grade school teacher for a long time, and they protected him. Just like my elementary school principal got protected. And I'm not supposed to have hard feelings about any of this. The people that destroyed my house, I couldn't even be a kid. I couldn't even go to school. I couldn't even, like, I was being starved. In my school pictures, I looked horrible in between year to year. Like, and it just slipped through the cracks every single time. Like, I couldn't understand why they were always being so mean to me, and everybody that hurt me got away with it. And every time I tried to talk about it, I was punished. And then, like, I would get so scared that I couldn't even talk. I couldn't scream. But I learned to overcome all that, you know? Learn to talk. Learn not to be so afraid of people, even though they do messed up things that I I'm not right with in my heart. Like, I could never be that cruel. I don't want to be that cruel. I know enough people like that that I didn't want to be around all of it. And people are cruel and ruthless, and they want to take things from you, and they do stupid stuff, and you have to defend yourself no matter what. And sometimes you find yourself doing a lot of things that you never would, just because I want to survive and have a life and thrive. And I'm tired of all this trauma all the time and being constantly re-traumatized and thinking that I'm not safe all the time, because I've always, like, I've never felt safe. I've never felt secure. I've always had to be hyper vigilant. I've always had to be on the defense instead of the offense. So now I think I just need to go on the offense. That's what my problem is. Playing defense all the time. Playing their games. Hanging on their words, seeing what they're going to do all the time, because it doesn't do me any good, because then I can't concentrate on my life and what I need to do, because I have to be worried about these idiots all the time. And it's not even just the Republicans or just the Democrats, it's the politics. People playing politics with my life. I don't want to burn bridges. I want to make friends. But I have boundaries. And people just don't respect that. They don't. They think if they can't physically control you, that you're going to bend to their will. And you're going to do what you're told. And then they can bully you and do whatever you want. And I've always stood up to bullies. I've always hated bullies. I've always had a problem with it because I got bullied so bad. So I always hate seeing other people get bullied. So I started to be more of a protector than, like, I thought I had in me. And I'm not trying to be a hero or saving everybody or anything like that. Half the time I don't even like people. A lot of these people that I don't even agree with ideology, but they're still people. And I don't think they deserve to suffer. And I think it's wrong to make anyone suffer like that. That's why it's a big issue. Because that's not who we are. We aren't barbarians. I thought we moved past that like 1,000 years ago. Or, the Dark Ages, medieval times. Like, these people want to bring back medieval times, like that whole thing with Sam Alito and his cult and the Sicilian whatever, Like, my dad's mom was Sicilian, so yeah. I've heard some crazy stories, I guess, but so he wears his black robe and his cross, and he wants to reinstate royalty there. So are we going to really go back to all these medieval things and, all these international laws that we had back in the day? Because I still have my letter of marque that I do plan to enforce, whether people think I'm a joke or not. So it's a matter of, can I enforce it or not? Can I? I guess that's a question of the day. And what is a letter of marque? And maybe I'll say that for my next video, because that's going to be like another, oh geez, this has been an hour and 20 minutes already. So I just don't want to have to keep burning bridges or giving ultimatums. And I always stand my ground. Definitely. And at this point, I'm not really amused. It's just another setback. So when Don Bonagino takes over the CIA, if he can pass the background check, then he can explain why he was on Fox News with Lynn Wood calling out Mockingbird. Oh, you want to evoke Mockingbird, huh? What happened the last time he did all that? That's why I'm saying, like, yeah. Bonagino talks a lot of trash, doesn't he? But where's Lynn Wood now? Right? Because he's a piece of work. That guy's nuts. You might not want to hang out with that guy. Don't recommend it. Oh, and they really don't like me. So, I don't know. What was the point of all that? What did you want? Like, you got my attention. Now, what do you want? You're going to evoke me on live TV, right? Call my name 3 times like it's a joke. Boundaries. You gotta have boundaries with people, or they don't respect you. And they don't fear you either. So I might be a little marshmallow, but I'm still the mockingbird. So maybe you can tell Dan that crap. Because he's going to know what I'm talking about. So have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.